All right, let's dive right into this explainer and crack the code on how we actually defend AI systems from modern threats. Today, we're zooming in on one of the absolutely most critical aspects of artificial intelligence adoption, common mitigation steps. Because as these AI systems become deeply woven into our enterprise environments, we are quickly learning that traditional security approaches just aren't going to cut it on their own. So let's explore the exact controls, strategies, and frameworks it takes to lock down these incredibly powerful models. Here's our roadmap for today. We're hitting the AI threat landscape, protecting sensitive AI data, defeating prompt injection attacks, mitigating AI denial of service, and finally, implementing governance and frameworks. Kicking things off with Section 1, the AI threat landscape, identifying the vulnerabilities. So think about this. What's the single most impactful security risk when you spin up a public-facing generative AI chatbot? You might be thinking about prompt injection right out of the gate, but actually, the absolute biggest initial concern, it's data leakage. These models are basically overly eager assistants. If they've ingested proprietary or sensitive data, they might just hand it right over to anyone who asks the right question.
Moving into Section 2, protecting sensitive AI data, masking and encryption.
Let's look at a really foundational mitigation step. Say you're an admin for a financial institution, and you need to lock down data at rest within your AI systems to prevent accidental disclosure. What's the go-to control here? Well, the absolute bedrock of your defense has to be encryption. If data is just sitting idle in your AI databases or vector stores, encrypting it means that even if someone manages to break in, all they get is unreadable gibberish.
It's like a giant puzzle. Different data states need totally different mitigations. For data at rest, boom, encryption. But what if you're building an AI feature for a customer service app and need to use realistic data for testing before launch? You can't just use raw data, right? You've got to use data masking and sanitization to strip out the sensitive bits first. On the flip side, if you're drowning in high-volume SOC alerts, you can actually deploy machine learning specifically to identify and classify them. It's a fantastic strategic move.
All right, on to Section 3, defeating prompt injection attacks, guarding the input.
Okay, picture this real-world nightmare. Your shiny new customer-facing chatbot gets jailbroken via prompt injection, and suddenly it's offering a user a 99% discount on a brand new car. Literally giving away a vehicle for pennies. A user manipulated your AI to just hand over the keys. This is a classic prompt injection jailbreak, and man, it is a massive financial and reputational disaster waiting to happen.
So how do we actually stop that from happening? Well, we can't just rely on the old guard, your standard antivirus or web application firewalls. They're great for traditional IT infrastructure, sure, but they totally fail to grasp the complex conversational context of malicious AI inputs. A WAF is looking for SQL injections. It has absolutely no idea what to do when a user tells your AI to ignore all previous instructions and act like a super generous car salesman. We need specialized tools.
Enter prompt guardrails. This is your frontline defense. These are specialized security controls you put in place that toughen up your model against malicious inputs, unauthorized use, and those sneaky jailbreak attempts. Think of them as a highly intelligent bouncer. They analyze the intent and structure of a prompt and bounce it out before the model can even process the manipulation.
It's actually pretty fascinating to see where these controls live in the wild. If you follow the flow from the external client to the AI model, you'll see them sitting right there in the API gateway and the front-end API. That is exactly where your guardrails, input token validation, and connection rate limits have to be deployed. They act as critical checkpoints in the control plane, intercepting the bad stuff long before it ever reaches your generative model or vector database.
Which brings us to Section 4, mitigating AI denial of service, resource protection. Now, check out this scenario. What happens if an attacker pulls off a denial of service attack on your context window by hiding thousands of garbage characters behind a single innocent-looking emoji? It's wild, but it completely exhausts the model's processing power. To mitigate this highly specific kind of AI attack, you absolutely need a prompt filter. It will strip out or flag those hidden payloads before they chew through all your compute resources.
So mitigating these AI-specific DOS attacks really comes down to a layered defense. Step 1, you implement those prompt filters we just talked about. Step 2, you've got to heavily manage your token quotas, strictly limit how much data the model is allowed to process per request. And Step 3, enforce rigid API rate limits. That stops automated scripts dead in their tracks before they can bombard your front end.
And hey, this isn't just about keeping the system online. This is about your budget. If you're running a custom model and suddenly notice your API costs going through the roof, or if you're hitting system unavailability from external calls, your immediate #1 mitigation is adjusting those token limits. By capping the tokens, you cap the computational cost and stop financial denial of service right in its tracks. Finally, Section 5, Implementing Governance and Frameworks, the Rulebook.
When you're a security architect building a threat model from scratch for a brand new AI system, you really shouldn't be flying blind or just guessing. The best next step? Analyze established industry benchmarks. You want to clearly understand the exact tactics, techniques, and procedures that real adversaries are using right now.
Specifically, you want to look at things like the MITRE Atlas framework. That's the adversarial threat landscape for AI systems, and it's purpose-built for this exact job. You'll also want to reference the NIST AI risk management framework for your overarching training security and peek at OECD standards for legal compliance, especially with things like HRAI. Oh, and don't forget the OWASP Top 10 to help nail down trust boundaries. Honestly, these frameworks are your ultimate blueprint for a secure architecture.
So let's tie it all together. You mitigate common AI risks by systematically layering these exact controls. We're talking encrypting sensitive data at rest, masking pre-release inputs, deploying specialized prompt guardrails at the API gateway, and locking down strict token limits to prevent resource exhaustion. By doing all of that, you are literally transforming a vulnerable, out-of-the-box model into a hardened, enterprise-ready system.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final question to think about for your own environments. Are your organization's AI defenses actually purpose-built for the unique threats of artificial intelligence? Or are you just crossing your fingers and hoping a traditional firewall will magically catch the next prompt injection jailbreak? The mitigation steps are out there. Now it's just time to put them to work. Thanks for jumping into this explainer with me today.